Hi, you're watching IBTV, Information Builders Television, with your hosts, Chris Banks, Melissa Trier, Jake Freevold, Peter Walker, and other special guests.
I'm not wearing any pants.
That would be a Chris
Banks. So.
Seriously, Chris was not able to join us this week in Reno, and we're very bummed. And hopefully you're watching. I'm sure you are, Mr.
Of course
Banks.
he is, because he wants to gloat about this later. That's why. Totally.
But you are definitely missed. It's not the same without you, and we will try to do our best
what we can
to carry on. But we just wanted to let you know we're thinking about you.
Anyway.
And we hope you like that picture of it.
I don't even know where we got that from, but it's awesome.
Anyway, so we're excited. We're in beautiful Reno, the Grand Sierra. This is such a new location for us.
Yep, first time we've done Summit in Reno, and it's a fabulous facility. You're going to see in a few moments the theater that we're having the keynotes and stuff in is a place where Michael McDonald performed just a few days ago. They've got Counting Crows and Rob Thomas coming up in September. They've got a great, it's a great venue just as a theater. It's really a good place.
It's a beautiful theater. I think it probably has to be the most beautiful venue you've ever been in.
Probably.
We walked through it yesterday. Got a bit of a behind the stage
tour.
There's actually just a little fun fact. We're going to do a lot of fun facts today.
You're nothing but fun facts.
Fun facts. That's me. There's a real plane.
Full-sized airplane in the back. Well, you know how the wings
not
sometimes
a
fold
plane.
up? Right, the wings fold up so it fits back behind there. And
behind the stage.
It's something like 2 acres worth of terrain back behind that curtain.
I'm not really sure why the plane is there. Did we figure that out?
We didn't figure that out.
We don't really know why it's being used. I don't think it's going to be used today in our general session.
You never know with Gerry. Sometimes,
you never know. Maybe he could come out. Remember that Oprah show? I don't know if you watch it. Did you ever watch Oprah?
I can't say I'm a frequent Oprah watcher.
Well, when I was a pretty loyal Oprah show, and the time where she had John Travolta, and she was giving away a trip for everyone, and John Travolta came out in a real jetliner.
Really?
He's a pilot. Did you know that John Travolta
I didn't know that John Travolta's a pilot.
All right, Chris, I'm missing Chris right now because he would totally know.
John Travolta was a pilot.
No, so maybe that's
Bruce
what we're
Dickinson's
planning
a pilot
on doing.
too.
Maybe Gerry will come out with a wave. Anyway.
Seems unlikely, but it's possible.
But very excited to be in Reno, and I've talked to a number of customers already, and they're excited to be in Reno.
Yeah.
Because it's a fresh new location for us.
This is my first time here. I've never been to Reno.
Yeah, really. Thank you very much. That was good.
Thank you.
But
Good morning.
so we're driving along. I really had never been outside of the state of Ohio at this point in time. I guess this is like a major.
It's an old one you might remember.
We're driving, my aunt's driving.
We do it a little different, two-tone style.
It's going to be a little bit different today based on that. After Gerry, we've got, I'm not sure if it's immediately after Gerry or not, but we've got a comedian who's going to be doing a comic act for us a little bit later on today.
I didn't even know that.
Absolutely.
That's been a closely guarded secret.
And then we will have a special musical guest.
That I know about that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
We're not going to tell them. We're not going to tell you. You have to watch.
You're going to have to find out.
Yeah.
And interesting because the musical guest is actually in software. You never knew. I never knew this. And we're going to have an innovation panel today. I've spoken to Meta, who is going to be the moderator of it. She's a data scientist, and we have a panel of some of our best customers who are going to be talking about interesting things that they're doing with Information Builders technology within their own companies. So that's going to be an exciting thing too.
Tell me a little bit about the guest. Meta? Yes?
Meta is the moderator for the panel, and then we got people on the panel from Pershing, from Ace Hardware, from Vantiv, and so we've got a number of great customers who are going to be talking about just the specific things that they're doing. And I don't know the details of what that panel looks like. I only know that the people involved.
It's always great to hear from our customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's all about.
We try to encourage that.
We're doing pretty well.
We as a company, one of the reasons I like it here, I've been here for 18 years almost now. It's crazy. One of the reasons I've been here so long is that we do pay attention so much to our customers. We're so engaged with our customers. We love to hear what they're doing, and we try to make sure that what they're doing is successful. And when they are innovating, that's critically important to us because that helps us innovate too. It's a nice symbiotic relationship. So that's one of the things that we're going to see here today.
Gerry has some guests joining him on the big stage in a few minutes. So do we want to reveal who those people are? Or do we want to leave it as a surprise? What do you think?
I think it's fun to reveal who they are.
Should we reveal?
especially since Gerry is not going to be the one speaking in it
I know.
anyway.
I think he's going to do a small intro
Right.
if his voice permits this morning. But joining Mike this morning, we've got a couple of guest presenters. Jeremy Ballanco is going to be
iWay
talking
side.
a little bit more in depth about the new innovations on the iWay side, specifically Big Data Integrator.
A ton of
lead
interest
gen.
there. Yep.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of interest around that product.
There's been so much work over the past probably year and a half in the iWay product development side around those two capabilities: big data integration, and master data management, data quality, and so on, and bringing all those things together into a single unified platform. It's actually really incredible stuff.
Very cool. And Jeremy's going to do a great job,
Absolutely.
I'm sure, rolling that out.
Don't
also,
let him
Kevin
get cocky,
Quinn,
though.
I know. Don't tell him I said that.
Okay.
Kevin Quinn is
Kevin
going to be
Quinn.
unveiling some of the latest innovations on the BI and the web-focused
Yep.
side of the house.
He's got an exciting roadmap. I saw a preview of his presentation. You were probably there too at the advisory council yesterday. Very interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, there's some cool demonstrations. Kevin always has a few things up his sleeve, so I'm not going to spoil that. But
No.
there's some very cool demonstrations, and I also believe Dan Ortolani is going to do a bit on some of the new approaches that we're taking to customer service, customer support. We're taking much more of a self-service
Right.
approach. Customers, especially millennials, you millennials out there, you guys don't like to pick up the phone. I don't really either anymore.
I was
You know,
going to
text
say, I
me,
was ahead of my
email me.
time,
I guess
right?
I was
I'm not a
too.
bit like, who talks to people anymore?
Can you just text me? It's so much more efficient that way. But people are looking for support in different ways.
Right.
And so we've tested the waters pretty effectively with the new Business User Edition, and we'll talk a little bit more about that launch. In providing users of that product the ability to go to a place and serve themselves from a support standpoint, so they don't have to pick up that phone.
Yep.
So we're looking to take that approach across the rest of our support services. So Dan's going to be talking about some of those new fresh approaches as well. So it's a lot of good stuff.
It's good stuff, and I think it's
Exciting.
also very important because as more and more people start using the Business User Edition as a tool, more people are going to need that kind of support as opposed to trying to make, to open cases and things like that. It's going to be more helpful for people who are really trying to be as self-service as possible. So I think it's a good direction.
It's a very good direction. So official launch of the Business User Edition was it this summit? Was it yesterday? Was it? I feel like we've had a couple of official launches of Business User Edition.
Yes, we've already launched. It depends on what you mean by a launch, right? We had a rollout period with some of our customers for some time, and then we're making official announcements, I think, today. There's also things going on. If anyone out there is interested in things like the Amazon Cloud or Microsoft Azure Cloud, there are also things going on with that as well, where we're going to officially announce today, I believe, the availability of the Business User Edition in the Azure Cloud. So those things are changing. Those things are happening as we speak. So,
Very cool stuff.
yeah, good stuff.
So many of you think, well, this is the opening of Summit, right? This is the keynote, but in fact, we've been well underway for a while. I mean, I'm looking at
We had
this
a full
agenda.
day yesterday.
I know, can't stand my glasses. Bear with me. Getting old, Jake.
It's okay. So am I.
No, we started actually at 11 o'clock yesterday morning
Yep.
on Monday. So a lot of us flew in on Sunday.
Yep.
Thank goodness, because it was like a long.
It's a long trip.
It was a long trip from New York, right?
It's not to complain too much, but when you fly over your target to bounce back, I'm like, okay, I went to San Francisco so I could bounce back to
did?
Reno. Yeah. Some people went to Utah and bounced in. It's all
Yeah,
good.
I went to Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a better way. What airline did you use? What do you
It's
fly?
United. It's a hub. It's right near where I am.
Oh, all right.
Are you going to give me a problem about this?
I am, especially if we're going to talk about United or
Okay.
Continental.
That's
anyway,
right.
So yesterday morning, we started at 11 o'clock. In the morning, that was when the information desk officially opened. I walked by that desk. There was a line.
There was a line of people.
Couldn't wait to get registered, get their information, get their packet, and get started. We mentioned the advisory council was yesterday. So the Web Focus Advisory Council. We have that twice a year. In the fall, we bring everyone, some of those
Into New York.
customers, into New York for
Yep.
about a 3-day meeting, but we do an abbreviated version of it here, since so many of the customers are already here. So we met yesterday over lunch, and they got to see some of the previews of some of the things that we're showing today, and also even beyond that, and always look forward to getting their input and feedback.
And that's a pretty extensive session. That's actually from 11:15, I want to say, through about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon. It's a pretty full day of presentation on our part and discussion and feedback. so that we can learn what people are interested in, what their concerns are, and present to them some innovations that we've got, some of which you'll see today, so I won't talk about what they are, but so that they can see some of the innovations that we have, and so we can get some initial feedback about what things we should be considering as part of our implementations of it.
It was
very good stuff.
Well, you know what I thought the best part though?
What's that?
So yes, we share with them, but I think it's always best when they
share with us,
back.
100%.
So we actually had a customer present yesterday during the course of the advisory council. We have customers presenting throughout the entire 3 or 4 days of Summit. It feels like, is it really 3 or 4 days? How many days?
It's Tuesday, Wednesday,
really,
Thursday.
So it's 4 days plus.
Yes.
Right? But this particular customer from Black Knight Financial Services, one of our customers, great customers out of the southern area, wasn't able to join us later in the agenda. So he presented the new application. It's a great new application. It's Magnify, which is our search, bringing together structured, unstructured data, bringing that into visualizations and reporting. I mean, it really is for them. They wouldn't even share some of the screenshots because they consider it such a significant competitive differentiator.
Absolutely.
It's like highly confidential, but it's such a cool application. And the greatest thing about the application is they were able to get it from concept to production less than 4 months.
Which is just huge.
Which is
for something that's so critical for their business to be that rapid of a deployment is a gigantic step
And
for
it's
them.
a Hadoop type implementation.
I was going to mention that, absolutely.
And sub-second response time. I mean, I wish everyone could have heard this customer talk about their application because
we'll have to see if we can bottle it somehow because it was really good.
It was fantastic. So that was really the highlight for me at the advisory council.
I agree, and he got a number of questions that came out of that. People were asking him, what he did and how he did it, and so he was able to give good feedback and a lot of rich interaction there. And that's one of the best things about Summit, actually, is the amount of rich interaction that you get with so many of our customers, so many of our product managers, so many of our executives on sales and marketing. It's just such a rich environment for that kind of
Which
thing.
I think is a good segue into, I think there's a lot of people we need to thank, right?
Sure.
Because wow, this does not happen. I mean, the planning for this literally starts happening next week for the next year.
Right.
I mean, it is
basically
such
Terry
a
Cosentino takes a week off,
effort.
and then
we let him have a week off,
Right.
and then he's like right back on it. But it
It's
is
huge.
such a huge, enormous. So, want to talk about? I think we should recognize Terry Cosentino.
I'm afraid I
as
would
most of
leave
you-
people out because I don't have a list.
I
That's the
know,
one
you
problem,
don't.
right?
But we can take a shot.
So
at it.
here's the nice thing. If we say Terry Cosentino did an amazing job, then A, it's true, but B, he will immediately deflect that and say, no, everybody did, and he'll push that down to all the other people who've helped him out. So, I mean, we can see some of them in the
He's
room,
always
right?
so humble, right? Fran Shea, Susan Dorney.
Yep.
They crack the whip and they get everyone in a room, and we look at all these abstracts and we start building out the agenda. And my gosh, I mean, that's like.
It's
like
months
in
in
the fall,
advance.
like it'll happen for next year in a couple of months. I mean, it's amazing what all of the effort and energy that
Absolutely.
goes into this, and all the behind the scenes work that goes into it. I was behind the scenes a couple of times yesterday doing some things for you, which we'll get to maybe at the next break. I have some surprises for Jake. I learn from the best. I learned from him. Learned from Mr. Banks. So I have some interesting things for Jake at the break.
See, I didn't play any games here. I didn't bring any games to play.
No, but isn't that great that I did? So it is
I don't
great.
know,
And he
'cause I
has
don't
no
know what the
idea.
games
He has
are
no
yet.
idea what we're going to do. So that's even
Okay.
better. So we'll leave that in suspense. But they were working so hard in just all the behind the scenes. There's so many things that need to be accomplished.
Well, and we talk about us flying in, yesterday or the day before. Very often they're flying in, over the weekend, trying to get just a ton of work done, trying to make sure that everything is set with everybody's hotel rooms, make sure everything's set with all of the different facilities and resources, make sure that all of everything's printed where it needs to be and the badges are set up and everything. It's just a huge amount.
Are we good? All right, guys. Time for the big show. We'll see you in a bit.
Hey, everybody. Hey! Well, Jenny, who can I turn to? You give me something I can hold on to. Do you think I'm like the others before? Who saw your name and number on the wall? Johnny, I've got Jenny, Jenny, who can I turn to? Give me something I can hold on to. Tried to call you before, but I lost my nerve. I tried my imagination, but I was disturbed. Johnny, I got your number. I need to make you mine. Johnny, don't change your number. 8675309. It's 67539. 8675309. I got it, got it. Got your number on the wall. I got it for a good time. For a good time, girl. That's right. Hey! Johnny, don't change your number. I need to make you mine. Johnny, I call your number. 8675309. Your turn. It's 67539. Jenny, Jenny, who can I turn to this morning? For the price of a dime, I can always turn to who? It's 67539. It's 67539. 309. Good morning, everybody. We'll be back a little later. We'll get partying. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the President and CEO of Information Builders, Gerry Cohen.
Wow, that was real 80s songs, wasn't it? Well, I want to welcome all of you. I want to thank you for coming to beautiful Reno. How many people have been here before? Not Reno, but how many have been to a summit before? Okay. How many people are new, first time at Summit? Wow, that's great. Well, I want to not only thank you for coming, but as you can hear from my voice, I actually have laryngitis. It's great. It's bad timing, I call it. So I will not be able to do my normal presentation, and instead I have a wonderful substitute, which is our Master of Ceremonies, Mike Corcoran, who's going to take over my part of it also. So let's get started. We're a little bit late. I'll be back later. Maybe I'll find my voice. I'm going to go out looking for it. But anyway, we're going to get started. And Mike Corcoran, where are you, Mike? Here he is. Okay, see you all later.
I've warned you about late night karaoke. I warned you about that. You don't listen. How's everyone doing? All right. Ready to have some fun? Got a lot of stuff going on. How cool was that, Tommy Tutone? How many girls named Jenny, anytime they walked into a bar in the 80s, were tormented by that song, right? probably have a few stories. Actually, you may see him in a session today because he is actually a SQL programmer. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. He will be in sessions today, so he wanted to join us. So as Gerry pointed out, welcome to Summit. We are really excited to have you all here. We are, guys, if I could cue the screen. We just finished a tour over in London, Madrid, Frankfurt, and Mexico City in the last 3 weeks. And we do many one-day summits, and usually we follow the big event, but this year we've been rolling out so many new products in the first quarter, we had an opportunity to do those events first, which is really great because after this week, a bunch of us don't want to travel for 2 weeks because we get really wiped out here. And we're going to go back to Amsterdam in the fall for the final event. But welcome. It's going to be a great event. We have a lot of things planned for you. I'd like to welcome a few special guests here today. We have a wealth of partners at Information Builders, and the partner activity for us is growing dramatically, especially with the new products that we have for both WebFocus and iWay. We are going to be expanding our footprint in the marketplace extremely dramatically through these partners. I saw last night very quickly, I didn't have the time to see everybody, but I will visit every partner, and I want you to do the same. Don't just get the stamp so you get the prize. Come on. You got to actually talk to these people because if it's not you, there's somebody in your company who needs help with services or a special application or database technology. There's a lot of great technology in there. So all of our core partners are here. Teradata also did a sponsorship of one of the events, but this week is their user conference as well. And with that, I want to also welcome a lot of the distinguished analysts in the industry are here, the top analysts as far as I'm concerned. I know a couple of you just flew in from Teradata. You were there yesterday and flew here to be here with us today, so thank you for that. It's great to always have you guys here, and we look forward to a lot of great insights from you. These are some of the best attended sessions that we have. There is one last-minute change. The analyst from Gartner who was going to present, that's still on the printed agenda, he actually left Gartner last week, so we weren't able to do a last-minute fill-in, but you got the best ones here anyway, so just go right ahead with these folks. So, and I'll reference some of the research in our first session here. We're going to talk about a lot of technology. We've been building out this platform and this stack. Our focus is all about starting with data, making sure you can simplify the access, lower the latency of data, and then make sure that it's accurate and consistent. So you're going to hear about some new technologies we're adding to the iWay mix this week. Very exciting, that will really dramatically shorten the time frame and in implementing even the most complex information management challenges. But also, you're going to be able to deal with larger volumes of data. So you're going to hear about some exciting new products there. And obviously on the WebFocus stack on top, it's a lot more than just about pretty pictures, although we do think ours are the prettiest. It's about all the, not just simple, not just easy. We're constantly making the products easier and more automated, and you're going to see a lot of really, really interesting examples of that. But it's also about making sure that you can do the sophisticated challenges and solve complex problems, putting things like predictive analytics in the hands of non-technical people, and that's really the whole focus of what we have with the entire platform. So when we go out to the public this year, this was our booth at the Gartner show in Dallas a few months ago. It was actually a guided tour, and this is the kind of guided path that we like to take people on. Because for us, the conversation does start with data. You need to harmonize your data. What people want today is a trusted data environment. And you make sure that all data is accessible and working together so that users have easier access to it. Then you can start worrying about pretty pictures. Visualization technology has kind of been the rage the last few years. We put a lot of effort into the R&D, and this year, with the new versions of WebFocus, we've made some great strides because we didn't just catch up, we actually passed people on a lot of innovation and a lot of capabilities that you'll get in one core initial product. So you're going to hear a lot about visualization here this week. But for most vendors that we compete with in BI and analytics, the journey stops there. They can put pretty pictures on data, and they can generate insights, but they tend to not be able to operationalize those insights. How do you deliver better decision-making with that content to more and more people, especially non-technical users? And the more we deliver information to non-technical users and more people in an organization, the better the performance of those companies. And we see that in every industry. And lastly, a lot of you have already taken the lead on this, but many of you are about to embark on that journey here, and that is how you're going to extend that out the firewall to your customers and your business partners. And that's where you truly have the opportunity to monetize your data investments. Boris Evelson is here from Forrester. I just read some recent research he did in March and he talked about people in his surveys still aren't finding all the value. They're investing a lot in tools and technology, but quite often when we poll customers, I watched Rado Kodorov at Information Builders get in front of an audience at a recent conference and say, who's not getting enough value from their BI and analytics investments? Now, these were not our customers. I want to clarify that. They were everybody else's, and everybody raised their hand. People are frustrated. So we're trying to do the things that we need to do to make sure our software will automate and simplify things for you, but we can deliver it to the widest range possible. So everything we talk about is going to be about that. The need to get to trusted data. Most people don't trust their data. The reason a lot of people haven't delivered information to their customers is because they don't trust the data. So you're going to see a lot of great technology this week that help you bring more and more sources of data together. If I looked at a Gartner quadrant about 7 years ago, they were down to about 5 data warehouse technologies. And now there's probably 30 or 40 on that chart. It's not getting easier, it's getting more and more complex. And then there's new technologies like Hadoop. People like Cloudera and MapR are here, right? Look at their technologies. And people say, well, where does that fit in? It all has to fit together. You've got the enterprise warehouse, you've got data lakes for analytics, you've got operational data, and you've got data in the cloud, some of which is yours, and some of which is in the public domain. They say data tells a story. More data tells a better story. So our goal is to simplify all of that data acquisition for all the business users. Make sure the data is accurate, make sure it's mastered, make sure it's consistent across all the different systems. That's been our focus for the last few years. When I look at what's happened in the industry this last few years, there's been a lot of fighting between business and IT. You think we'd be getting better at this as an industry, but we're not. Most of the new tools that people are downloading willy-nilly, they do nice things, but they don't work within the infrastructure very elegantly. So we're trying to make sure that business and IT have the best collaboration platform possible for managing data and information, and making sure we understand how it's being used by the users. So with that, I'm going to introduce somebody from our company, my first guest, Gerry Ballanco, Vice President of iWay Products, wants to talk to you about some new technologies that we're delivering to the marketplace.
Thanks, Michael. Welcome, everybody. As Michael said, the data market right now is a very hot place to be, both from a practitioner standpoint, such as many of you in the audience, but also from a vendor standpoint. There's a lot of bleeding edge technology that's out there, a lot of changes and a lot of demand, right? So it's a great market to be in. But to follow on one of Michael's points, it's not simple, right? That's one word that does not describe the data environment today. The data environment is complex. We have data spread out throughout the entire enterprise. We're dealing with cloud data on applications, third-party data, partner data. Now there's the big data in Hadoop, right? So at the same time, there's more and more demands to deliver that data at a much more rapid time frame. So it's more complex, and we have more demands to deliver it at our fingertips, right? So that's a challenge for all of us, you as the practitioners and us as the vendors to deliver. Michael, there we go. So I'm going to use Ventana to kind of paint a picture here. I think we'd all agree that to do good BI and analytics, we need good data. If you look at the top capability that the analytical user needs is the ability to extract data from source systems throughout the enterprise, right? It sounds easy, right? But it's easier said than done. And why is it easier said than done? Well, Ventana's going to help answer some of those questions also. And so if you look at the barriers that they describe to information management, and the first one you'll see is that data is spread out across the organization, too many places, right? Which is the core capability that the analysts need, right? Which is the biggest challenge. You also then layer on the multiple versions of the truth, right? How many times is Gerry Ballanco represented across those systems? We don't have a good single version of the truth for the business to make good decisions on. The data's not timely enough. Again, we're in the smartphone generation. We want data at our fingertips, right? And we're relying on things that were built in the 90s, which were much more bat-centric, but we need data now. And the last point that I'll touch on is data quality, right? That's one thing everybody's always complaining about. Oh, the data's not good, the data's bad. That is a challenge, right? If you're building applications on top of data and you don't have trust in it, How can you make good decisions based on that data? So what do? Right? If we need to build applications and analytics on top of the existing data, we have a few different options. Right? We can just build those reports, build nice, beautiful dashboards and reports, and produce those against the untrustworthy data. Right? That's definitely one option. What seems to happen, that Vantana points out, is we're spending a tremendous amount of time to prepare and to fix that data for usage. And this is extremely costly because it's typically done as a one-off time. It's not done from a reusable perspective. And there's a lot of work engaged in it. Right? So the two main points here is preparing and then fixing data. Right? So all these things kind of play together. And if you think about data integration, I like to talk about it that it should be seen as the foundation of a house. So if you build a thin foundation, as you build walls, and over time those walls will begin to crumble because you have a thin foundation. If you build a solid, strong foundation, you can go high, 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 and the sky's the limit. But you need good tools to build that foundation. This is not something that just happens or there's an easy button to solve these problems. To have the right full set of capabilities, and Information Builder's iWay suite is in the full spectrum of providing the data integration foundation, from profiling to integration to quality to mastering and then governing that data. You also need to look at this as an ongoing discipline. It needs to be a life cycle. You can't just do it once and expect it's going to be good for the next few years. It has to be a way of life. You have to look at your data as an asset and manage it as an asset. A few things to point out. You'll notice some recent research that comes out from the analyst all around BI and analytics, and some of the core capabilities there are having a data platform, having some way to help manage the data. As we push tools out, especially to the business users, we want to make sure that they're going against trustworthy and accurate data, right? Because we want them making very well-informed, educated decisions. So Information Builders, the iWay suite, has been a visionary and a leader in the space for some time. We were actually just put on the Gartner, the Leaders Quadrant of the Gartner Data Quality Quadrant last year. Again, the data space is ever changing and evolving, and we continue to innovate around what's driving the market. Last year, we released our OmniGen platform, specifically our MDM edition, and everything, the sole purpose of OmniGen MDM edition is to drastically reduce the amount of time it takes to produce a single version of the truth of your most important corporate data. And so we're proving that we can do this now in 3 to 4 months versus the typical 12 to 18 months it's taken to produce that single version of the truth. So as part of our overall data integration strategy, we continue to innovate, and now we're innovating inside the Hadoop world. As more and more organizations are adopting Hadoop, they want to leverage the power and the capabilities of Hadoop itself. So with that, I'm happy to announce we just launched iWay Big Data Integrator. We love our acronyms, so we're calling it BDI. So this was just released, and BDI is a data integration tool purpose-built to run native inside of Hadoop and all distributions of Hadoop. A few key things to point out. We have a simple UI that layers on top of the Hadoop infrastructure. This is going to make things easy so you can't search and try to find those expensive, hard-to-find consultants to build the infrastructure for you. We're going to provide UIs that sit on top and reduce the complexity for you. It's native. It runs inside the Hadoop cluster. It takes advantages of all the facilities that the Hadoop infrastructure offers and leverages them and uses the power. We have integrated data quality and process management. So what does this mean? This means as we're helping ingest and transform data inside Hadoop, we can now do data quality and process management on that data, right? Now we can make sure that data that's moving through Hadoop is going to get clean and it's going to stay clean. Also, iWay BDI is also WebFocus ready, and it's a very powerful combination between WebFocus and BDI. If you think about some of the use cases that you hear a lot around the Hadoop world, one is the data lake. Now Information Builders has an end-to-end suite that allows you to do all processing around a data lake, from the ingestion, the transformation, the filtering, the cleansing, and then the presentation of that information. So now you can feel comfortable that you can populate your data lake, it will stay clean, and you can get that information out to the people to make decisions. Another interesting use case that you hear a lot about is streaming in Hadoop. So whether it's machine-generated data or structured or unstructured data, we now can help ingest that, move it, and in line, we can run predictive analytics models against it, so we can send out actionable insights as data is moving through Hadoop, right? So the possibilities are unlimited. And one thing that the Hadoop world is doing is really pushing the envelope. A lot of the use cases that we're doing, we never would have imagined 10, 15 years ago. So it's definitely an interesting world. With that, we have a special offer for our customers at Summit, and that is a trial version of BDI. If you're interested in the trial version of BDI, you can stop by our booth at the Solution Pavilion. It is packaged with Cloudera. We are Cloudera certified, so we have an instance of Cloudera with BDI sitting on top of it, so you can get that and start kicking tires and thinking, thinking about the use cases that are going to benefit you. So as I wrap up, I mentioned that, we're in a hot space, both you guys and the vendor, and that's data, right? It's an ever-changing world. We're going to continue to innovate as a vendor and try to make your lives as easy as possible. So thank you, everyone, and I'll pass it back to Michael.
Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, we've solved all the problems of data in the world. Standing back there, I just got a really good opportunity to look at this auditorium. This is the coolest venue we've ever been in terms of an auditorium. This is a neat place. Actually, if you go back toward the, behind stage facilities, there's a wall with all the people who performed here actually write their name, draw pictures, things like that. So I wrote my name next to B.B. King. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay. So let's talk about the rest of the journey, and that is to what do you do with data once you can make sure that it's accurate and available. So you're going to hear a lot of emphasis, and I'm going to bring Kevin Quinn out in a few moments to talk about how we've really simplified data visualization within the WebFocus platform. And that's about generating insights. But then operationalizing those insights is where people really start to get higher and higher ROI. And then obviously when you can monetize outside the firewall, that's where you're going to really start to see the big return on investment on your data investments. So what we've done with this concept here, this visualize, operationalize, and monetize, is actually we've restructured the WebFocus platform. And we've actually restructured into 3 tiers. So this is a very, very, very big change in the WebFocus platform, both from an architecture but also from a go-to-market standpoint. And it's going to change the way we more easily address ourselves in the marketplace and make ourselves available to more and more people. So, with this whole concept, with these 3 editions, we're going to talk today about the Business User Edition, and this is the key you've got in your packet there, your key to analytics success. That thumb drive is a trial version. We'd like for you to install that within the next 10 days from the time of the conference here, so you could do it here, and there's labs in the expert room to help you through it. But this edition is really geared to help people, without having the full WebFocus platform, start to analyze and visualize data. We feel it's the most complete tool on the market for all kinds of analytic requirements because it's not just about data visualization. Good old reporting is still really, really important. In fact, when I look at some research, I looked at the new Dresdner survey that just came out, it's still the #1 issue in analytics on top of people's list and their needs. So being able to put that all together with dashboarding and some unique capabilities is really, really important to people. We then introduced the application edition. Now, what's interesting about this is where you start to get the full server capabilities and all the services and start to develop info apps with App Studio, right? So the first is about business users who can use tools, and then the next platform, the applications edition, is about building applications for the people who can't use tools. Because there's a lot of pretty tools in the marketplace, but I don't care how easy any tool is, ours or anyone else's, not everyone can use a tool, nor should they. So delivering these interactive, highly analytical apps to non-technical people is really what differentiates the WebFocus platform. What's changed here in these first 2 editions is these 2 products are now user-based. We introduced the platform in user-based increments, and we start doing that for the Business User Edition at 20 users without having the full platform. So this expands our capability, and we've also signed on over 50 new resellers in the last few months and onboarded them to bring this product to the market as well. So information builders will be much more accessible to the marketplace. This trial version you're getting is part of a controlled trial that's actually growing very rapidly if you look at the number of people in this room that now have it. We've made the offer in some of the CIO conferences and the Gartner conferences the last few months, and lo and behold, there's a lot of people who've taken us up on it. So this product will be not so quiet in the near future. We think some point this summer, we're going to just open it up more broadly. And then we're going to gamify it. We're going to have contests to see who can build the coolest visualizations, who can come up with the most interesting capabilities, techniques. So, and then we're going to do that for business people. We're going to do that for college students, because we're going to build the next generation of WebFocus users and get them started with this technology early. So you have plenty of people to hire from your local universities. Yeah, I knew you'd like that. Go ahead. Okay. And then lastly, the version that most of you have, where you have unlimited users, core-based licensing, still available in the enterprise version. So the licensing you have all makes sense and fits in here, but there's some new technologies that you need to look at this week and new capabilities in the structure. So it's just other ways and easier ways for us to be accepted by companies and work with companies. So let me talk a little bit about what's in these editions very quickly before I bring Kevin out. This is a chart, thank you, Howard Dresner. This is from the Dresner Advisory Services brand new Wisdom of Crowd study that just published. And I found this chart that said the top 5 important strategic technologies to business intelligence. Number 1, reporting. 2, dashboarding. 3, end-user self-service. 4, advanced visualization. And 5, data discovery. So what does the Business User Edition provide? Reporting, dashboarding, end-user self-service, advanced visualization, and data discovery. You get those top 5 all in one product. You'd have to buy 3 or 4 products from all the other people we compete with to do that. So this is a nice way, a comprehensive tool set to integrate it within the same metadata to do that. But it also has unique capabilities. In document analytics, you've all heard about active technologies, the way we can deliver interactive documents. We're going to get much more aggressive about this. We actually started repositioning the concept of not replacing. PDF has its place, right? You've got to publish documents that are static. But now people want documents that are much more interactive. So we've actually trademarked the term analytic document format. And the ADF will be used for your interactive documents like you use PDF for your static documents. And they'll each have their place with you. But the concept of in-document analytics, when we said active technologies, a lot of people would look at us like, what is that? You say in-document analytics, they go, whoa, what's that? Much cooler. So you're going to hear us talk a lot about these terms. You also get a limited version of Reportcaster in the Business User Edition. And you get a limited use of the portal for users to manage their content. Obviously, you need the fuller version to share and collaborate more effectively for larger numbers of users. But this is a workgroup product, not an individual siloed type product. A lot of the tools in the marketplace were built for individual users who work in silos. What does that create? It creates data discrepancy. The focus of this product is to make sure that people can share and collaborate even when they get started with the tool right out of the gate. Again, everything web-based, just like our full philosophy. Right? In Tier 2. Tier 2 is where you move into building applications and you start to get the features of the server, but you do that on a user-based license. And we'll start you at 100 users, so you don't have to buy the full enterprise platform if you want to get started on smaller applications. You've got a lot of product options in the core package. You've got things like Report Server. You've got the full portal now when you go to this version. You've got full unlimited Reportcaster. You've got active technologies here as well that you can generate. And now this is where you bring in App Studio as well. So this is where you start to build info apps for the people who can't use tools. Right? As easy as we know Business User Edition is, not everybody could use the tool. You get adapters, and basically almost all the other product options become available to you at that point on a user basis. So you have all the technology available to you, but it's about making it easier to do business with us and get started. And then lastly, a lot of you have some of you have by far the largest BI and analytic applications in the world. That's in this room here. For all you new people that Gerry polled in the audience, you're sitting next to people who run the largest applications of these technologies in the world. By far, we're talking millions of users in some cases. All right? Nobody else scales to that. Nobody else does that. So this product gives you all of that full platform functionality with licensing and scalability features to make sure that you can deploy to the largest user base possible. So these 3 additions, we think, make it easier for us, for people to engage with information builders, expands our footprint in the marketplace. We're very, very excited about that. To give you a little sneak peek, especially at this new edition that you're going to be playing with, I'd like to introduce my next guest, Mr. Kevin Quinn, Vice President of Business Intelligence Products.
Thank you, Mike. My microphone's on. Not too much of a glare coming off my head, right? Right? So I was going to show you just a quick demonstration here of the Business User Edition. So there's a lot of things that we did in this edition. I mean, it's of course based on Web Focus, but first of all, one of the things that we did was we made it really easy to install. It's basically, I would say, like a one-click install. Other than knowing your serial number for the product, you just basically put that information in and press and do a click, and the entire thing installs on your server. The entire product installs in just a couple of minutes. As soon as you come into the product, one of the things that we did was we gave you a Getting Started page, which provides, as you can see here, a couple of videos. One is the video that gives you an overview of the environment and understanding how to manage content in folders. A second one in the middle there is that gives you an introduction to InfoAssist Plus, which is the primary development tool for the business users to create reports, charts, documents, and visualizations. And finally, once you've gone through the videos and you got a general idea of how the product works, you can go right to the upload here. So you can upload your own data and get started, or you can connect to an existing data source. Once you're finished with that, you go back over, there's a home page here, and the home page actually provides you what we call quick links. So the most common things right there in the middle of the page, if you want to create a new folder of content, upload data, you want to manage users that you will have coming into the environment, or you just want to go right in and create reports, charts, documents, and so on. So you have that there. We also provide what we call a samples folder, and in the samples we actually have reports, charts of every type that you can create. So Excel spreadsheets, active reports, and so on, as well as all of these charts. And you'll see down here, demo videos. If I actually go to that link, it actually goes right out to our website. And notice that the folders on our website for reports, charts, actually has the same exact setup as the samples there. So there's a video that shows you how every single one of the things was created. So you can get started yourself and build content really without ever talking to IT or actually having to, to learn, read documentation. So it's a real simple way to get started with the product. So what I'm going to do here is go back to quick links. If I was going to get started with the product, one of the things that you can also do is you can upload data. So I'm going to click to upload a file here. It goes to our upload wizard. I'm going to select a file to upload, and we'll go to our retail extract here. And it's uploading my spreadsheet, and it's going to show me what's inside that spreadsheet. If you had multiple tabs, you'd see all of them there. I only have one tab in there, and I'm going to select to overwrite here because I actually have done this practicing my demonstration before. I already did upload it, but I'm going to select to upload it here again. Now what it does is actually inspects what's inside the spreadsheet, takes a look at the different formats of the data, and it makes some assumptions about how the metadata should be set up. So this is what it created from the spreadsheet. So it interpreted the spreadsheet as having these fields as measures, and it created all of these hierarchies from the names and titles of the fields in the spreadsheet. So it recognized, for example, that there were geographic fields in there. It saw country, state, city. If there was a zip code, it would put them all in a hierarchy called geography. It found fields that had similar names, store type. It put them in a folder. Product name, product type, product category, put them in a folder. You can override any of the things that it does. If you think, for example, if you have a number that actually is an ID number, you can say that's not really a measure. Let me move that back down into dimensions. So you can override any of these things. Once you're finished, in this case, it actually did some nice assumptions. It actually got everything correct in what I want to do. You can say next. And from here, I can go right in and build a report. Or one of the things that we can do is we can generate sample content for you. So by selecting the Generate Sample Content, it will go out there. It will start to run some reports. It reads the data. So things like how many dimensions exist in this category. So it does some intelligent things where if what happened there? Oh, I clicked my mouse. There we go. It actually generated, if you could see those folders there, right here, it generated all of these reports and charts, and including that dashboard that just came up on the screen. So it generated over 40 items, and it determined whether things should be represented as a bar chart or a pie chart, depending on the members in there. So this is a full active dashboard here, so I can change and reanalyze that data. I actually have an overview active report. Let me just run that one there so you can see it comes in here. I can begin to take a look at the data that I've created, so generate a bar chart off of product category, And if I wanted to, highlight just these two categories, I can then use that to filter the report in the background. So it's a very powerful, you actually get content. Every one of the items that were created also are 100% editable by the InfoAssist Plus tool. So at the very least, what you get out of this is a starting point for beginning to create content in the tool. So it's a really easy way to get started with WebFocus.
Than that at the marketplace, I don't think there's anything easier than what we just saw. It generated a whole lot of metadata and content for you. Thanks, Kevin. Don't go anywhere. I want you to have a few moments of awkward silence standing there while I go through a few more pieces here.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay. So there's a lot of features. Now, this business user edition, we made that available 8,200. You now have the first release of it to play with yourselves, and that's now available. The rest of the two other editions will be production this summer, an 8201 release. So we've got a lot of new features coming up in that. One of the most successful features when we released version 8, we did not anticipate, is the portal. And the portal really is a major distinction between what other vendors call a dashboard to what we really call an intelligent workspace, where it could contain dashboards and apps and charts and visualizations, but giving a lot more control to the business user to create their own dashboards and customize their own workspace, and also to set some level of user governance where we could put controls on it. We want our salespeople to look at these 3 metrics all day long and not anything else. We want these people to have the flexibility to look at lots of different content and lay it out the way they want based upon their workflow. So we're adding lots of new capabilities in this new release to make the portal even more glamorous, lots of more control around objects and containers, lots more ability for you to manage your content more effectively, more actively, making sure that we can generate prompting values, so you're managing multiple objects and across multiple sheets more effectively. So lots of automation going into the portal, and lastly, very, very importantly, lots more collaboration. You'll see conversational facilities. You'll see a lot more understanding about what users do and how we expose that in the collaborative process. So making intelligent decisions behind the scenes. How many of you, not using our products, of course, but other products, have created in your company 1,000 versions of the same report? Now you've done it with our products too, let's admit that, right? We've all done that. But now we're taking steps to make sure that we capture that and we'll make content available to you that's related to the content you're working on so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. So these are very, very strong productivity gains in the product. Lots more powerful data preparation. I will say that the development team here made amazing strides in the last even 6 months on making sure that we give you very, very strong data prep capabilities. We talked a lot about the data management at the enterprise level with Jeremy, with iWay products, but right in the tool, users need the ability to transpose information sometimes when they're working with their own content spreadsheets and merging that with corporate data, et cetera. So having that capability to do that very effectively is very, very important. You saw some of the metadata generation that we do. That was just a simple example. Lots more capabilities with metadata. The big problem with the traditional competitors we've had in the market over the last 15 years, they took too long to get things done. You'd had to model data for 12 months before you create your first report or dashboard. And we've never been that bad, but we've even made it easier. The problem with the new tools in the market, most of them don't even understand what metadata is. So how do you audit your results? And that's the big problem that they create. So metadata is good, especially if you can automate it. So the guys did a lot of good work here. Lots more inclusion of new chart types and new visuals from ourselves, but also from the external community out there across the web that you can incorporate. Lots more security features. I left Jerry's favorite word in there, foiling hackers, foil the hackers, right? New security considerations to make sure that we have the most hardened products so that your applications are not vulnerable when you stick them outside the firewall especially. And then obviously a lot of simplified mobile development. Mobile is becoming a lot more important to you. Our philosophy is we just assume everything you do might have to go mobile. So you're going to hear a lot more about how we make things simplified for mobile development and deployment. There is a new version of App Studio, and I think later in the session you're going to see a video between the speakers to show you lots more about what's in there. We did a lot of redesign since last year when we introduced the first version of the new tool. Lots more workflow based on your feedback and the advisory council's feedback. So we built in responsive design so that it runs on any size screen, any mobile device. New automatic prompting and amper variables so that, again, you can deliver content that's linked much more effectively and much more quickly. Lots of data exploration capabilities with AutoLink and AutoDrill capabilities, and I'm sure Kevin will have a lot more to say about that this week. And then we did a lot more extensive new integration with ESRI, our mapping partner, and ESRI is here. There's a certain amount of content we give you in the products through our relationship with ESRI, and there's certain levels you have to go back to them and add more of their product set to take more advantage. But it's a pretty tight relationship between the two companies. So again, I thank them for being here as well. And then lastly, lots of facilitators, again, for metadata, for describing. Lots more addition for inclusion for write-back capabilities. Maintain is constantly getting upgraded because the mobile applications are driving a new resurgence in applications that need to write back. A lot of you are adding content and comments on your applications. You're doing that with Maintain. Sometimes you have to update inventory or budgeting numbers when people see something wrong in the application. Or sometimes you're doing surveys as part of the application. So all of those features require more and more write-back capability. And this is, again, a very unique strength for the platform that we continue to enhance. And then lastly, lots of work around big data, not just on the iWay side, but also in the Web Focus side. There's, I think Cliff Kranish will tell you, I think there's over 40 ways to connect into the Hadoop world, the Hadoop-based world, between the native Hadoop, between all the commercial providers like Cloudera and MapR and Hortonworks, but also through all the SQL-based interfaces from all of the traditional database vendors. So there's lots of interfaces and technology, new support for the Phoenix adapter, drill. So pretty much anything that comes along in that community that we need to support, we will. And that's going to be, again, driven by demand from all of you. So lots of cool things, some experimental things in the labs. I'll hold off on that for a moment. But we've got a lot of interesting technology, Kevin. I think you want to show us a few more things?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I'd like you to do that.
Give you a break for a couple
That'd be
minutes.
nice. I'm going to take my water and stand in the back.
Okay. So I'm actually here in Info Assist Plus. So if anybody here is an Info Assist user, should be familiar with what Info Assist Plus basically combined what we used to call info discovery or visualization in with Info Assist. So now you can do everything in a single tool. You've seen demonstrations how you create charts and reports inside of the tool, but I'm going to do something that's unique. One of the things that we just added to Info Assist Plus that's coming out in this summer release is parameterization. Now, obviously, you could always parameterize filters. That's one of the easiest things, and pretty much every product does that. But the idea of being able to parameterize what goes into the chart is one of those things that's somewhat unique to information builders and Web Focus. So for example, here, I actually started parameterizing, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So you see that you just drag fields onto the horizontal and vertical axis to build something. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to the vertical axis here, and I'm going to right-click it, and it says, do you want to make this a parameter? So I'm going to say New Parameter, and there it is, Parameter 1, and I'm going to rename that, because this is going to represent all of my measures. I'm just going to call it Measure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these measures here in the measure group and drag it right onto that parameter. And you see that it actually, what it does is by default, it shows you the first thing that's in the list. I actually already parameterized, if you can see down here, the color by. So I can either color by quarter or by region in this chart. It's not me, I'm building something for the end user. The next thing I want to do is parameterize the horizontal axis. So I'm going to say New Parameter here. So how do I want to spread out this bar chart across the page? I'm going to rename this, and we'll just call it X-axis. And I'm going to pick the things that I want to see in there. For example, I might want to see product category and drag that onto the X-axis. And I might want to possibly see product subcategory. I'll drag that onto the axis there. Let's go over to the year. Let's take year. Year's a possible thing I can put on there. And maybe we want to do month as well. We'll drag month onto there. So if you actually take a look now, so I have an option for 5 different measures and 4 different x-axes and 2 different ways to color. So this is actually about 70 different charts. I didn't do my multiplication very well there, but it's a lot of charts that I've actually created there. So I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to try something extremely dangerous. And that is now I'm going to show you what I just did was I created a chart creator for mobile. It's saved into a folder that I have direct access to, and they got me up on the screen already, good. So I'm going to log in here, and I'm going to do something that my security guys always hate. I'm going to log in as the admin. It's going in. I was told that the Wi-Fi is acting very slow here, so let's just come in here. And it's coming up. It is really slow. Okay. Notice, okay, see what it's showing you is exactly what I created, and it's using the new auto prompt. So you actually got a demo of a couple things here. So this is the new auto prompt. So what do I want to see on my chart? I want to see gross profit. I'm going to build this entire chart with my thumb. I want to color by the quarter, and I want to go across the bottom as product category. I'll leave that. And it's generating the chart. Again, going over the slow Wi-Fi. Oh, there it is. So there's my chart as I just built it. You believe it? Somebody is calling me. And I'll bet you any amount of money I can get a better rate on my credit card. Anyway, you saw how quick I built. Thank you very much. Switch back to the laptop if you can. So you saw I literally created a tool for an end user to build their own chart on a mobile device and deployed it. They had parameters and they can change anything that they want and save it. So it's a pretty neat thing that we did right there. So I think that's a pretty special thing that you can't do in many other products. So let me then go. So that's demonstration number 1, Mike.
They knew it was live at least.
I wonder if that was Jeremy calling me to tell me I forgot
Jeremy
something.
telling you to hurry up.
Yeah. All right, let me, what I want to do here is I'm going to sign out. And I'm going to sign in here. Now, you mentioned, Mike, you mentioned Portal. I'm going to log in here. Oh, actually, let me do it this way. So what you're going to see on the screen here looks like a standard dashboard. But it's a lot more than a standard dashboard. It's actually a portal page, which is, it looks similar to a standard dashboard, but it acts a lot different than a standard dashboard. It's one of the reasons why portals are so special is that they actually give the user a tremendous amount of flexibility. You notice across the top we actually have some parameters that are set up, and these parameters control all of the objects below it. So for example, if I only wanted to see in this dashboard EMEA and North America, I can select that, and I've got it set up so that it automatically refreshes all of the charts. These charts by the way, don't have to be coming from the same data set, as long as they accept the same parameters. Now, what's special about a portal page is the customization. So for example, if I don't like what I see here, I can go to resources here, and it's going to show me all the things I have access to. And I don't like that pie chart in the upper right corner there. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to find my regional sales by month here, and I'm going to drag that over my pie chart here, and I'm going to drop it. Do I want to replace that content, or do I want to add it as a tab? In this case, I'm just going to replace the content. So I actually notice it's only doing EMEA. It takes the exact same filters as the other objects. So the user can come in here, either add objects. So if I went down here, for example, and went to my large widgets, I can find, let's see, revenue by month, year. Let me see, we take a country map. Where's a nice one I can do? Let's take this one here and drag it onto this one. And I'm going to add this as a tab. So I actually have what are called multi-content containers. So my dashboard can have a whole lot more than just the things that you can see on the screen. So I can toggle between those things, save it, and now I have a page that's custom to me, but it's respecting all the parameters. I can even right-click on the right here. I won't do this now, but I could create a new report off of the reporting object that's in that folder. It would get the same filters, and I could drag new content that I create onto the same dashboard. So you can see everybody can have their own version of what they want, with the portal as the kind of the collaboration place where you can kind of do all this work. Now, the next thing I want to do here is I'm going to turn off my, well, I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to select this little button here. And what I can actually, these are all responsive templates. I don't know if you noticed it. I'll show you that in a second. But the page that I created, or I have there in the background, is 100% responsive. So it'll organize itself for a tablet or a phone, wherever I want to look at it. And these are responsive templates that we now provide via the portal. So if you wanted to create a brand new page. And what I want to do here is not create a brand new page. I want to link to an existing page. Because one of the guys in my group actually mentioned that he actually created a new visualization. His name is Ben Avery. There he is. So I'm going to select his folder. He created a portal page that's in a different place. So I'm actually going to bring that in to my portal. So this is a visualization. I'll turn off my resource tree there. And I can actually take a look at using this. Since this is a visualization, I can filter on any of these objects, and it updates my visualization there. And wow, look at stereo systems there. There's something going on with stereo systems. And notice on the bottom, there's a little area that says comments. I want to add a comment here. And I can say, you know, what's happening with stereos?
What's happening with your spell checker?
Yeah, I know. Well, I got fat fingers here. But you have this, you see the general idea is that this is an entire environment. I can create my own pages. I can take pages that other people share, bring them into my portal. I can even actually begin to have a whole conversation about the content that's in there. So that's the collaboration that Mike was talking about. So that was my second.
A lot of you have asked for that. What do you think?
Yeah. That was my last. Oh, wait.
No, you know what, Kevin?
What?
Let's get really risky since the phone worked. You have a couple of other things that we talked about here, a little experimental. You want to show them some of the things in the lab?
You really want to do that?
You want to roll the dice?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go up here. I have a folder. So this is what we're going to take a look at here. I'm going to. Oh, I didn't do.
Well, maybe you didn't.
No, I did. That's just I actually clicked run instead of edit. I
Okay.
actually started my process here. Let me go into this. We've been doing some work with some third-party companies that do a very, very unique thing, and I like to tell the story. I'm a big sports fan, big baseball fan. Watched the basketball game last night, the whole thing. And a lot of times, you know, you check the scores. I use CBS Sports as my little app to go and check scores. I don't know if you ever noticed, whenever a game is over, you can go to news, and there's an entire article written about the game, basketball, hockey, whatever. It'll tell you, it's literally a second after the game is over. There's an entire article written. Now, somebody could be sitting there typing that, but the truth is a lot of the articles that you read today in newspapers, especially things that happen really quickly, are built by computers. So it's called a narrative. And there are companies that actually can interpret things like dashboards and reports and give you an entire narrative about that. So we actually are working with a couple of those companies, and what I'll show you, and the easiest way to kind of get to what we've done so far is I'm going to go to other. Now, I'm going to tell you a little, one of the other big features of InfoAssist Plus is the idea that you can extend it and add new charts to its library. Anything that you add would appear in this folder down here called HTML5 extensions. So I'm going to select this as one from our partner vendors. It's just a line chart. And what I'm going to choose to do is I'm going to put gross profit on as my measure here. And I'm going to go down to, let's see, here. I'm going to go down to the month and drag that onto, oh, actually, no, we want to do it by day. That's what I wanted to do. Go down to day, and I'm going to take sales date and drag it onto my dimension. And now I'm going to run this in another window so I can kind of make this bigger for you to see. I'm going to say new window, and I'll just run it. And I want you to see. You notice the text that wasn't a heading that I wrote. That was the technology that we're working with, creating a narrative that describes what you're seeing in the chart. Now, that may seem like it's a simple thing. Let me just actually zoom in here so you can actually see and read. I'll read it out to you, so I'll make that bigger. So what it's telling me is that on this chart, gross profit was 54 million across all 165 days of the year. I actually had a little filter in there for going from the beginning of the year to today. It says gross profit increased 2.2% over the course of the series. Gives me the range there. The largest increase was 12.8%, and it occurred on a particular day. The gross profit actually had fluctuated over course. That 68.1% of the times, actually, it went up or down from the previous period. See, these are all things that I may not have noticed in just the glance of that dashboard. So I want you to, there's a lot of different ways that these things can be used. I mean, of course, there's 508 compliance, so somebody who's got a disability to be able to do that, that's certainly one thing. But think of another thing that we all do. We all get statements from our mutual fund companies, from our 401k plan. Imagine that you get a statement, and the entire first page of the statement is a cover letter that tells you the most important points of what happened in your 401k plan for that month, done automatically by a computer. How many people here think that they could use that technology within their own organization? Just give me a raise of the hands. Or a clap. A clap would be good.
I like clapping
There's a lot
better.
of you out there. Okay, that's good to know. So that's all I got, Mike.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, that was good. Great, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to take my phone and call the people back. Find out if I can get a better rate on my credit card.
Better call that credit card company back, yeah. So obviously a lot of great new exciting technology, some things to come, some things coming very quickly, and obviously the business user edition is here now. So I want to talk quickly about support for that. Before I do that, I just want to let everybody know that for the 5th year in a row, our worldwide customer service team has won another American Business Award. And this is a great recognition in the industry for businesses. In the software category, we come out as one of the top vendors every year in the entire industry. We take it very seriously, and I think a lot of you feel that kind of support. It's part of the major culture of the company Gerry's always built from day one. So congratulations on another Stevie Award to that team. And with that, to talk to you about some of the new support programs for this Business User Edition, Mr. Dan Ortolani.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I think it's so great to see all of our customers here at Summit this morning. We work together with you all year, and we're so happy to support you and to be part of your success. At Information Builders, we continue to extend and invest in a deep infrastructure of customer support services. And those services are designed to service all the requirements for all of your users in your organization. Developers can get access to all the information they need via our technical support website. All the documentation's there, you can open up cases and get all your answers. They also have the option to collaborate with over 9,000 other peers via our focal point community. Or they can call our CSS help desk, which is a 24/7 operation, global and staffed by all Information Builders employees. And of course, you always have access to your SEs and your account team, who are always there to help you, either on-site or remotely. For IT professionals in the audience who need to build out scalable infrastructures to support your systems, you can take advantage of our premium support and our advanced technology services teams. They are specialists in best practices, performance, scalability, and tuning. But we realize that there's another user that we need to support, and that's the self-service BI user who's using our Business User Edition product. And I'd like to explain to you how we're supporting that new class of user. Let's roll the video. What we'll show you next is our BUI Information Center. This was built by our technical content management team, and it's a one-stop shop for all of your Business User Edition information, training, and customer support. It has all the services that you see listed here, technical videos, self-service learning, and other services. Let's go through a quick guided tour of the BUI Information Center. Our first option that we'll look at is the Technical Video Center. Realize you can access the Information Center directly from the BUI product, right from the logon page. Let's first go to Video Assist, like I mentioned. When you click on that option, what you'll see is a list of categorized videos for you. These are very short, task-oriented videos which tell you how to do specific functions in the BUI product, very similar to what you would see in a YouTube environment. For example, just creating content here. Next, we have a more formal online curriculum, which we call self-service learning. And it doesn't replace the classroom classes that we'll have later in the summer, but it's a great way to get your users up to speed immediately. Here you have a summary of what each module is proposing and what you will learn with each module. And then with each lesson, not only do we have videos which step you through each lesson, but we also have labs that are embedded in each lesson so you can actually try what you've learned. That's very important. Next, we have our technical library, and this is the library of all of our documentation and videos that are online. And again, categorized very nicely by technical area. You can just click on the area you're interested in. You see all the different topics organized for you. In this case, we'll just check out the multi-drill option, and we zero right in on that portion of the documentation that's available for you. Or you have the option to use our search capability in this technical library, and you just type in the search term, and you get all the search results of all the index content, not just documentation, but also videos. This looks very familiar, right? What are we using here? Our own Magnify product to drive services to our customers. So that's another area for you to explore in the business user IC. Of course, you can always chat with a buoy expert by just clicking on the chat button, and you can have that expert step you through whatever it is whatever help you need. We've also created a separate business user edition community within Focal Point. So we think this is a different class of user that will have different types of collaborative needs, and we open that up for you. So, business user edition, Information Center, what do you think? Are we hitting it on the line here? Good. So lots to learn through that Information Center, and lots to learn here at Summit with the Business User Edition. You can go to the Buoy Lounge, the exclusive Buoy Lounge in the expert room, to get all the information you need and to install the product and to connect to it. There's continuous labs, and of course you can install the Business User Edition. You all have a copy of a trial version that came in your bags. So what you saw here today is, as we continue to drive new products and new technology into the market, in the support services area, we're continuing to innovate and provide new services for you with the singular goal to make you even more successful with our products. Thank you very much, and have a great summit.
Great, Dan. Thank you. And again, congratulations to the whole worldwide customer support team. Closing out here, a couple of other things that I think you'll find interesting this week, hopefully enjoy. You're going to hear a lot about organizational intelligence, and that's something that we empower. So everything we've talked about is about making sure that you can deploy BI and analytics to the widest range possible, based upon accurate data, based upon big data, based upon all of the requirements that you have. So we feel like we'll continue to extend our lead in building the largest deployments possible, reaching every user in your organizations. And many of you are doing really, really exciting things at every level of this org chart. We call this organizational intelligence. Gerry Cohen and Dr. Rado Khodorov wrote a book on this topic, and that book, we've made an early release copy of the book available to you here at Summit. So in addition to giving Gerry laryngitis, we're going to give him writer's cramp. And Terry, you're going to announce when they can do some of the book signings, okay, at one of the breaks. So enjoy that. And thank you a lot of the customers who participated, sharing your case studies. Again, you're so generous in giving us content to work with. We really appreciate that partnership, and I think everyone's going to enjoy having access to your insights as well. So thank you. So I'm going to close out here. Numbers have an important story to tell. This is Stephen Few, who's one of the industry experts in visualization and how data and things should look. I think he's the reason why we have so many white dashboards with different shades of blue on them. In fact, I think that's too colorful of a picture for him, so I thought I'd make it Stephen Few appropriate. But we did ask a lot of you to submit for a contest some of your best screenshots. So we've asked you to send in your dashboards, and a lot of you responded to that. So we're really, really thankful for you participating. It was really, really hard to pick a winner. Pick 3 winners. Really, really beautiful, innovative designs. Really good-looking content. I did not participate in selecting the winners because I didn't want to have any enemies, but you can blame Gerry and Terry and Kathleen Moran, Melissa Trier, Jake Freevold, Rado Khodorov. They all selected. So if you didn't win, it's not my fault. Okay. First winner, Dealer Track, submitted by Chris Lowe. Stephen Few would have a little tear in the corner of his eye. Good use of space with numbers and things like that, too. Well done, well done. Each of the winners will receive an Apple Watch, and we will get in touch with you at the event here about your Apple Watch. MasterCard, Michelle Mazzola. This is actually more of a little bit more to it. You selected a number of screenshots, all beautiful, and showing the different use of launching the tools, right? And the different metrics and how you lay them out. So thank you for sharing that with us as well. Congratulations, Michelle. One more. Oh, pretty pictures. And lastly, Lipari Foods. I love this one, too. A lot of info, right? So congratulations to all of the winners. And again, Kathleen Moran will contact you about your prizes. So thanks for participating in that. Thank you all for submitting so many submissions. It was really hard to go through it. So with that, I'm going to close out. Thomas Edison is not one of the brilliant analysts who's here. He couldn't be here with us. But he made a comment that I think is extremely appropriate about the value of ideas lying in how you use it. And he must have been thinking about data today. It's not what you collect, it's what you do with it. And you have a tremendous opportunity here at this conference this week. You've got a lot of new technology to take advantage of. More importantly, you've got a lot of smart people sitting around you, people who are being very successful. Learn from them, learn from the best. Nothing means anything unless you put it to use. And last year I was speaking on a panel at a TDWI conference in San Diego, and there was a young man in the back of the room. He just started his first day, I think, at Qualcomm, who was sponsoring the event. And he said, I'm hearing all this about these business user tools, and I just joined an IT department, and I feel like I won't have the opportunity to be creative. And I said, you could be anywhere in your organization. Everybody has the opportunity to be creative and think outside the box. So, with that, I want to thank you for your attending and thank you for your time. You're here to learn. We'll have some fun in between, but get inspired. Do something that's going to change the world, because in this room, there are people here who are changing business, they're changing government, you're improving healthcare, you're saving lives, you're pulling soldiers off battlefields, you're saving pets at the ASPCA, you're raising money for good causes. And there's a lot of needy causes around the world, so get inspired and help change the world. So thank you. Before I leave the stage, I just want to say it takes a lot to put a conference like this together, and there's too many people to thank at Information Builders. It's in product management, it's in the education group, it's in the marketing team, the PR team, and ultimately the event team. And I can't thank you all, but you know who you are. Anybody wearing our colors, our shirts, they're there to help you. If you see any customers sitting alone, to the Information Builder staff, nobody sits alone at Summit, right? So everybody needs to collaborate, everybody needs to be together. So it's the best team in the world, led by the best event marketing team in the software industry by far, and other companies tell me that all the time, including this facility, and that's led by Terry Cosentino. So Terry, great job once again. And then lastly, I just want one more shout out, and that is, we spent a lot of time in Orlando a lot of years, and we didn't go this year. But our event team is partnered with a company called Birchmore Group, who does all the staging, lighting, and sound for all of our summits, and they've done it for over 10 years. And Dargan Watts and the Birchmore Group, they're part of the family here, and they are based in Orlando. So I know for you guys, being here this week is very tough. I know you have a lot of personal issues in your community, and we our hearts go out to you, and thank you guys for being here. We love you guys, all right? Thank you.
Welcome to App Studio 8201, the powerful new BI and analytics design tool and workbench, where you can build powerful info apps and executive dashboards for any member of your user community. We're going to quickly walk through options you might see when building a sales analysis dashboard, and we'll look at a mobile app. But first, let's look at the new context-sensitive Help Wizard. It starts off docked to the right. You can float it on top if that's your preference, or dock it to the bottom, which is where I like it for the full width capability. To turn it off, just go to the Home tab and uncheck this box. When you recheck it, the wizard appears again just where you left it. Notice how it changes as I choose different parts of App Studio to work with. For quick access to topics, I can use the content tree, or I can search. I type in my query term, choose what I want, and up it comes. I can then bookmark this topic or print it for future reference. 8201 introduces output widgets, highly customizable self-contained modules that can reference already built FEX files. Let's choose a table for this widget, or you can build directly in the widget for tighter control and shorter workflow. And we'll build a line chart for this one with 2 measures and 1 dimension. And when we save this chart and go back to our canvas, we see that it's automatically updated. A chart that's built from a template widget can be revised by right-clicking to open, making the desired change, such as restyling a color, and when saved, it's automatically updated on the canvas. And to revise files built as separate faxes, simply open the file, make your revision and save, then right-click and refresh it in the Canvas widget. To name your output widget, click it to set focus, go to the widget title section in the Properties panel, give the widget an identifiable name, hit enter, and you've now given your widget a unique name. The widgets also handle params and filters in a unique new way. You see here in design mode that they are open for editing, and when run, the section starts open. When you make your filtering choice, the panel closes automatically and your selection is appended to the widget title. Just click the drop-down indicator to filter again. To test how your responsive templates work in Chrome, use the emulation mode in the Developers panel to review your app in the various mobile environments available, from Android to the iPhone and iPad, in both landscape and portrait modes to see how it reacts. App Studio 8201, your complete development package for sophisticated business intelligence analytics dashboards and info apps that empower your business to move from insight to optimization and monetization.